Good afternoon, my friends. It's Carpo, in case you didn't know. Just some stranger on the internet making videos after all this time. And I'd like to say that time is not money. And I wasn't sure how to even tackle this topic, but on my way home from work today, I left a little early because we kind of ran out of stuff to do because my boss didn't order all the right materials, so we came up short on plywood and we're like, well, let's just pick it up in the morning. And I was driving home and thinking about traffic and how it's worse around 4 o'clock, and that costs me time. But how really it's all relative. You just go with the flow. Some days it's back to back traffic at 8 o'clock p.m. Some days it's totally clear at 5. You just never know. But more than that, at work today, we've been working in the second warehouse. We have two large warehouses across the parking lot from each other. And let's say there's maybe 100 feet, 100, maybe 120 feet between the two buildings. Not very much, but a good sized parking lot. And every day I have to go into the second garage, which is kind of the secondary area, to work on the tiny house that we have in there. In the main area, we have a giant tiny house that we still have up for sale, so we have nowhere to put it until it's sold. So when I want to go get a tool, when I want to go to the main table saw, when I want to get any specific drill bits, anything, I have to walk across the way. So this morning I thought, I'm going to bring my skateboard. And I did. I took my skate and set it up by the warehouse there, and every time I ran to get a drill bit, just skate across the parking lot, grab a tool, skate it on back. My boss thought it was funny as hell, but I realized that every time I do that, I might save about a minute, 30 seconds either way, and that doesn't sound like very much. But if you work 300 days a year, that's 3,000 minutes. I started doing the math and thinking, okay, I'm saving my boss like $1,500 a year just by skateboarding back and forth to get tools. At the extreme. I love to do weird math in my head. But I thought of how funny that is, that we try to save time. And even though I'm saving time, I'm actually saving him time, not me time. I'm saving him money. If I work faster, then the work runs out faster. It's one of those things. But my whole life, I've been told that time is money, that you should make the most with your time. And there are some times when I do, and there are some times when I don't. A good example would be my YouTube channel. Over 4,500 videos on this channel. And even if each one is, think about it this way. Even if each video on average is 10 minutes, that's 45,000 minutes. I don't even want to do the math. So if it was 30,000 minutes, it'd be 1,000 hours, or 500 hours? So it doesn't even matter. Probably between all the channels, 500 to 1,000 hours. And that's a lot of time. And those are just the ones I've uploaded. So it's a weird thing to sit here and say, well, if I was making $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 a video, that would make sense, like a lot of people do. But I do this because, to me, the time I spend here with you guys, silly as it sounds, is worth more than money. When I get donations to my channel, or patrons, or kickdowns during my live casts, I appreciate that more than people could even imagine. But at the same time, I'm just as appreciative, when people are willing to even take the time to leave a comment and let me know how they feel without being condescending or arrogant. It's very difficult online to find a community where you feel not safe, but where you feel respected. And what I mean by that is, when people leave a comment on my channel, somebody might have a rebuttal to it, but I actually wish there were more rebuttals because people have a lot of strong opinions about life, and they might leave a comment, and other people don't want to stir the pot. But I love it when somebody does say, "Well, what do you mean by this?" And I guess, as cocksure as I may seem about certain things, I'm not, and I am very cautious about how my inquisitions with people and how I interact with human beings. And I don't want to tell anybody that they're wrong because I don't know for sure. And I think that kind of ambivalence, it scares people more than being sure. People want you to be sure, whether it's a video I made the other day about the things you don't talk about, and it was, they say, politics, religion, and money at the workplace. But I also introduced science and death as and truth as three other things that we don't want to talk about because everybody has a strong opinion about it. If I tell you I'm not quite sure about politics, a lot of you might agree. I'm not sure either. The minute I bring up a specific faith or religion, people instantly say, no, this is what I think is true. The beauty is that I've been able to actually cultivate an audience of people who can say, this is what I think, but I respect other people's views. That's the kind of community that we all need to foster, because the time that's spent talking about life, the time that is spent learning about who we are, it's not wasted time at all. So when people tell you time is money, just remember, you can't take it with you. You can spend all your time making money, and unless it's to the ends of doing the things you want, there's nothing wrong with earning money. I'm trying to work up to buy land and a property that I want because I feel like it will motivate me further to be happy. But I'm not talking about buying, Gucci and Prada and trying to be cool by having fancy purses, that kind of stuff. There's a whole different world out there. And I know that may sound judgmental, because usually I say live and let live. And I'm totally okay with people doing what they want to do in life and spending their time the way they want. But I honestly have no respect at all for people who buy designer merchandise. If you're doing it to sell, like a resell thing, that's fine. But if you actually think that you're cool because you own a $10,000, $20,000 handbag, you're what I would consider an idiot. And no disrespect. I hope none of you all out there have a $20,000 handbag, but if you do, I'm going to say what I mean by that is, yeah, you're an idiot for owning a $20,000 handbag. There are so many better things you could do, because it's not about how we come across to other people. And that comes to mind because of the time is money thing. The amount of time it takes to make that kind of money for the average person, to make $20,000, somebody who's working a minimum wage job, that might be half of their year's wages. And for one person to go out and spend that on a pair of shoes or a handbag or even a ring is stupid. Hey, it's stupid when people buy diamonds. I mean, people do it all the time. Every year, people go out and buy diamonds for their wives, for their marriage, and diamonds are extremely expensive. But De Beers, the company, has a diamond mine that they keep shut down because it's a huge producer, and diamonds are actually worthless. You can't go out and buy a $10,000 diamond and resell it for more, or even the same amount you bought it for. It's a horrible investment. Buy your wife some vinyl records instead. No, I'm kidding. Look, I'm not here to tell people what they should do with their time and money. I just wanted to make it clear that people are really foolish. A fool and his money will soon part. And when money represents, because people will say, well, money doesn't mean anything. If money represents work, and for a lot of people it does, and they live check to check, then when they see people spend frivolously, like there's a whole community of Rolex buyers, right? They're the ones who buy them to resell them, and then those are the intelligent ones who are making a profit, but then there are people who just buy them because they want to wear them. They want to show people how much money they have. And the reason I'm bringing this up in the time is money discussion is because time isn't always money. I should say money isn't always time. And time isn't always money. You can spend time doing things that doesn't make you money. Meditating, reading, educating yourself. But ultimately, it doesn't earn you money, but it earns you profit. And that profit is intelligence, awareness, you know, philosophy of life. But just because a person has a lot and they drive, you know, a Bugatti and they've got a nice fucking suit and, you know, it has no bearing whatsoever on how much work they've actually done. And I guess that would bring me to the disgusting world of investors and influencers. I think that those are two of the just kind of grossest categories of people who make a lot of money. The investors are the ones who just have a lot of money, so they're able to invest in other things they know will make a profit. Yet many of these people have absolutely no values or morals when it comes to what they invest in. They invest in whatever makes the most money. They have no real values, and you know, there are a lot of them out there. I'm not saying everybody who invests money has no values. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that several large investment firms and companies do not have any values whatsoever. This is really bleeding out into the mainstream public now with these investment firms that are buying up houses, which is why housing costs are rising. You've got companies like BlackRock. These are, I can't even recall, there's several different terms for them, but these are people who dominate the market, and they make it seem like, well, they've got the money, so they invest, and it makes your time worth less, you know, as you get forced out of buying a home, living a normal life, the things we should be able to do. But these companies don't add any value to society. That was the point I wanted to make. These are companies that have enough money to buy, at a premium, a house off of another company because they know it's going to continue to increase. This other company can't resist but sell out. And same with homeowners. You offer them $450 on a $420,000 house, they'll take it. Next thing you know, your house is owned by a firm that sells a whole fucking neighborhood at a certain cost and puts in a HOA to make sure that it's maintained, and their profits soar. And this is important to realize because this is what's happening all around the country with not just housing, but apartment buildings, everything, condos, rentals, B&Bs. I mean, it's fucked up. And these are people who are basically leeches. They're losers. They don't actually produce anything. Because there are the makers and the takers. I'm a carpenter, I make things. Then there are people who buy the things that people make and they resell them and make a profit. And there's nothing wrong with reselling at a profit, but if that's all you do is you're a reseller, it's gross. You know, it's a really bad profession to be in, as far as I'm concerned. That's what I was when I was a kratom vendor, and that's why I quit. I was like, I'm basically just a reseller. I'm buying in quantity and selling the same thing back to people for more. I don't like this at all. And I went back to actually producing something. So a lot of people, you know, whatever works for you, right? But as I said, the makers and the takers, but there are a lot of people buying up shit and reselling it back to you for, you know, a huge killing for them. It's pretty sad. And so money isn't always time, was the point there. For the average person to go to work each day and work an 8-10 hour shift, whatever it might be, some people work 12-hour days, man. So be it. I'm actually very, whoa, Gesundheit, my neighbor. Damn, holy shit. Somebody's sneezing like crazy. I I can't wait till I have my own land. Oh my God, it'd be a dream. So, let me get back to the point here. As I said, time is money, money is time, right? Not necessarily. I would rather spend some of my time making videos, reading articles, learning about life, and trying to process the universe around me. Because I feel like when you're laying on your deathbed, the last thing you're going to worry about is how much money you have. Even many of the people who are extremely wealthy end up regretting leaving their kids money. I mean, just look at the fucking, you know, look at any rich family. Look at the Bidens. Look at the Trumps, right? Look at families that have power and wealth, and look at how fucked up their kids are. It's just gross. I mean, these are like the kind of people you expect to see on the cover of some fucking, Hustler magazine or something. It's weird, but it's true. Even though these people have money, and supposedly money should make you happy, they always have to make a public spectacle of themselves because money's not enough. You should be able to see that, and that's, I guess, the message I'm trying to convey. Even if time is money, the only reason we need money is to survive. And if you're trying to impress other people because of the money you have, or you're wasting it on frivolous, stupid things, if you go out, and you work fucking 12-hour days, 6 days a week, and you complain because you work too hard, but you're driving a raised fucking $50,000 pickup, you're an idiot. Just like it's you're spending money on shit you don't need. I've always driven $1,000 car. It's just I try to anyway. Uh, Actually, I did buy a van for $3,500 once. That was my Astro van, and I loved that van, and it ran for a long time. And I was doing construction, was making good money, but still, I didn't want to spend more than $3,500. I'm just a cheapskate, but that's because I would rather spend my money on things that bring me joy. And driving a brand new car isn't something that's going to bring me enough joy to warrant the extra work I would have to do to own it. But that's me. I don't know. What do y'all think? This has been long enough. I've just been rambling because it's so beautiful out. And got a lot on my mind. It's spring. It's like 70 something degrees out here. Got home from work today and I was just like, man, it's gorgeous. I can't fucking believe this. There's so many things I could be doing, and I just want to sit around and hang out in the sun. But ultimately, there is a balance. There's a responsibility. You got to take care of shit. Got to be able to do the dishes. Got to be able to take the dog for a walk. Got to be able to go to work. Hopefully your work-life balance is decent. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.